Hey, guys, what's up? How you doing tonight? All right. The Daily Rabbit Hole. You guys go ahead and get on in here. It's gonna be a good night. On in here. Oh man, it's been a long day trying to get this together. So we spent most of the day basically fine tuning the sound. Hopefully it's a little bit better. We had to make some adjustments. Some things didn't happen, but good night. Okay, don't worry. All right. So as you guys are coming in, I told you guys we had a new co-host. Just met her. We've been talking a lot more. We've been vibing. We've been kind of understanding each other's flow. And tonight's show is about the upcoming events. We're going to discuss the cyber attack. We're going to discuss what a fire sale is. We're going to discuss, the you know, shit hits the fan. Just things that you got to know, just things that you got to do, things that you got to be prepared for. All right, you're in. All right, and yeah, Queen P, you there? Hey, there she is.
Yes, I'm here. Hey.
Yeah. Hey, this is the new co-host. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. I'm gonna let her give her synopsis, her information about her, and we're gonna get into the show. All right, you have the floor, Queen T.
All right, all right. Greetings, everybody. They call me Queen T. I am a longtime host of a blog talk broadcast called Sign of the Times. We have been on for 6 years, Tuesday through Friday, faithfully for 2 hours a night on Blog Talk Radio. And so I came across the Daily Rabbit Hole, got involved in some of the dialogue and discussions there, and found it quite interesting that it kind of gave us a more community oriented approach to looking at some of the things that are blatantly obviously going on in our society and our communities, respectively. So I'm excited to be here and I welcome any questions or comments that you might have for me.
Thank you for that. All right, guys. So once you guys come in, send the invite out. What's up, Chris? What's up, McCabe? I see you guys in there. How you doing? All right. Now let's talk about what went on this past week. We had the election, super primaries, and all that good stuff going. Wanted to mention was the fact that we had another outage amongst the network. Now, what were you doing that day, Queen T, when the outage happened? The first time. Let's go back to AT&T's first outage.
Yeah, we were actually in a community meeting that day, and we're in the process of trying to communicate with some of our members. I have a group here called the People's Platform for Equality and Justice. I'm based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and so we're in the process of putting together a federal lawsuit. And so we were in the midst of taking care of business that day and found it very hard to communicate. Even some of the emails that we sent on that day did not come through properly. So we're still readjusting from that. It just made business very hard to take care of.
Yeah, so look, when it happened, the first thing I did was basically check my phone. I thought it was an emergency. I started looking around. So my phone stopped working. I couldn't call out, couldn't get to my clients or whatever. And I thought it was strange. When I started looking into it, it was basically all over the media, all over CNN, mainstream media was taking it in, right? Now, what I thought was really fascinating about that was that it just wasn't AT&T that day.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of people have been discussing that and saying like it was a coordinated attack or could be a test, which is the same thing. They're testing. So my with it is that we're still with they're poking around what they could disrupt because AT wasn't the only carrier that and it wasn't the only company hit. 30, 40 different companies. So,
Mhm.
that's kind of a curiosity thing now for me. Like, hey, what would be the point of this, right? what would make something like this go over the top? What event are we waiting on?
Yeah, it's almost as if they're testing the waters too to see how people will or will not choose to react to it. Um, to me, I think I heard that AT&T was offering like $5 for the inconvenience. But wow, $5 whole. I mean, that'll barely purchase a dozen eggs anymore. So it's just, I think it was a test to see what people would do and how we would react to it.
Yeah. Oh, see, Queen T, you cut out on me. Say something too. I'm sorry. Excuse me. This
No, no,
one,
no. I didn't say.
okay, look. Have you guys seen Live Free or Die Hard? Right? You know where I'm going with this. Live
Hmm.
Free, Die Hard. Now, in Live Free or Die Hard, there's something I want to discuss. In that movie, the main plot of that movie was a cyber attack disruption that was used to propagate the Capitol building being blown up, all infrastructure, civil citizens, it created pandemonium. When this happened, I want to add something. The person that did it worked for the government. It was a contract that basically. So in the fire sale, what happens is they basically crumble the infrastructure in 3 steps. Right, I got it right here. Right, it says shutting down all transportation flights, railroad lines, subway systems, and airport systems. Anybody remember East Palestine? Anybody remember all the other 53 train derailments? And that's just a rough number. How did those happen? How do you manage to disrupt the train system overnight? How do you manage to disrupt our subways? And if you haven't known, little tip work right now, right? I don't know if you heard Queen T. They have the National Guard in the system in New York crime in the city. Now, what would be? Why would you need to put the National Guard there? Of that, you're putting National Guard out.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, I think it's a test. Um, what do they call that? Predictive programming.
Right.
To where we get used to being over policed. We get used to not being able to rely on certain things. And what it's telling us too is that we need to prepare. We need to make personal contacts with each other. We need to make sure that we're writing down phone numbers and not just relying on our phones to remember who we can call and who we can't. We all probably need to reconsider getting landlines again, because I think a lot of us have gotten away from that. And most of all, we need to prepare our families for, with food and water and fire, some sort of electricity, to be able to see about ourselves when and if the grid does go down, when and if the infrastructure process is interrupted on a major scale and for any amount of time, because this was just for a couple of hours. Now, can you imagine if it had been days or a week or even weeks? I don't think that we're really prepared for that as a society, honestly.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
So let's think about this, right? The average person they say has 3 days of food. The average person has about 2 weeks worth of money. Gas, food, whatever, living bill to bill, and whatnot, right?
Mhm.
In the event that's been, it wouldn't be. It would be a situation where everyone's disrupted. Internet goes out, lights don't go out, but internet does go out. The app stopped working, and everyone's probably sent home. The kids may be sent home. Now, where the problem lies is when everyone realizes that the infrastructure isn't coming back.
Mhm.
And at that point, it begins uh, what we would call, I guess, a matter of time to actually realize there's a problem. And in America right now, so many migrants running around, and you got the National Guard coming making posts, and there have been videos of air training and air traffic in different areas. There's a lot of military going around, excuse me, and I can tell you where I'm at in Alabama. We have a lot of traffic right now as far as
Hmm.
military craft. There's a lot of training going on in our cities right now, and that's something that I have been very looking around on the web. I do see that it's not here; it's happening in Ohio, Florida, South Carolina. You're getting a lot of strange air traffic right now. You get traffic from people not see often in the markets, and that's not to say that all these people are bad people. But what I'm saying is we have a perfect condition to go wrong, and I don't know if
Hmm.
I'm being paranoid or I'm reading it correctly. And when I think about it, I realize that we as a whole are not actually prepared. Like you
Yeah,
said,
unfortunately.
we don't have, we don't.
Hmm.
Good stuff right now. Chris says, was not disappearance of Cisco a real test. He's saying, okay, so remember when Jinping showed up to San Francisco?
Hmm.
You remember that? You remember how all the home?
Yes. Yes.
It's the way they're moving right now. You can't cater to us, but you can cater to world leaders like Xi Jinping, like Diddy, like Macron, and like Trudeau. You know what I'm saying? You're catering to
Hmm.
your friends, but kind of just waiting for the worst case scenario. And in Ohio, you guys have your own struggles. What have you been seeing out
A lot of the same things. A lot of selling of infrastructure. We just here in my city sold the railroad that was once owned by the city of Cincinnati, west north and southern. They just sold the railroad and haven't even gotten paid for it yet. But yet, they used the community to back it because one of the requirements was that the city citizens would have to vote for it in order for that sale to happen. And that was intentionally put into the language when the railroads were first built back in the 1800s. So
there?
they were very successful at hoodwinking the city into selling the railroad. You mentioned the derailment that took place in northern Ohio, on the border of northern Ohio and like Pennsylvania area. I do believe that those chemicals are still in the water. I do believe that those chemicals were burned on purpose to pollute the air, pollute the environment. There are going to be some long term consequences of what took place with that particular derailment in North Palestine. And we've got to, prepare ourselves to do something about it. A lot of people are getting rain barrels, which we've had, but we have a community garden, so we had our rain barrel for that reason. But it doesn't hurt to just have one um, anyway. So get rain barrels. They're really easy to get right now, but who's to say in the future they won't become more difficult to get? And so, we've got this Chicken Little effect. I think that some of us who are aware of things that are going on around us, the sky is falling, the sky is falling.
Yeah,
Well, people better get ready for when the sky really does fall, because we've got that eclipse that's coming in April, and I know that there's been some talk about, something bad may happen then. So instead of getting eclipse glasses, folks better start, getting food and getting food in the pantry, and making sure that they have a couple of extra gallons of gas around the house, to get somewhere if we need to. And by all means, don't buy an electric car.
No. Okay. You beat me to the eclipse. All right. Now,
Hmm.
I'm curious about this eclipse, right? Because, there's a couple things to be noted about this eclipse. The cyber outage, on top of all this, we're talking about preparedness. And it's all, I want you to understand what's going on is it's not just random events. These are events coordinated by a
Hmm.
group of people who understand astrology, numerology, the old times, the way all this works, right? So let's think about this. April 8th is the eclipse. The real new year is April 1st. Okay. We all know that that's the real new year, not the January business year, but the April 1st new year on April Fool's Day. Okay. In March, right now, we have seen numerous cyber attacks being let out of their homes, well, not homes, but the shelters because they can't afford them. Okay. We're seeing different, just different things transpiring up a ritual. And Leave the World Behind was right on time. And you know what comes out in April? Civil War, the movie about when America goes into. Come on, how does that happen right after the eclipse? How are we your predictive programming or in America? We're not entirely sure.
Hmm.
I don't know. Could it be the migrants? Could it be each other? I would hope it's not us. I would hope that we're wise enough to not tear each other apart when we did during COVID for toilet paper and
Hmm.
noodles. So disappointing. Like, we have to be better wise. If we are a group
Yeah.
of people, see on why are we not preparing for it? Why are we not getting ourselves together to deal with this?
Hmm. Well, actions speak louder than words. And, we've got a really good group of people who are involved with the Daily Rabbit Hole. We've got a really good group of people who are involved with what we're doing here locally. And, we're getting to the point where we're going to have to rely on mutual aid if we're going to be successful as a society if something does go wrong or when something does go wrong, which is not a bad approach anyway. Because we're seeing a lot of change in the dynamics of the politics, um, be they Democratic or Republican or other. And we can't rely on those go-to political groups anymore, to do what's best for us. To me, they've been a part of the problem for quite a long time. They're the same rabbit or sheep in the same
Right.
clothing. They just have a different point of
Uh-huh.
rhetoric that they use when they want to garner our attention and our support for something. But we really need a people's party that, again, relies on mutual aid so that we can come to each other's rescue, because we can't rely on the government to come and rescue us if something in a major way does go wrong. They're going to be worried about protecting the haves, not the have-nots, and protecting the government, their own entities. They're not going to be worried about protecting the people, because honestly, we're considered collateral damage.
Right. And look, all right. So with that said, as far as collateral damage, we have to understand what the plan is for us. For us is complete
Mhm.
population with minimum minimum fallout, right? So, okay, now when we talk about this cyber attack and how they're, I want to read stage two to you guys, discuss that, right? So stage two in this whole
All
plot
right.
was disable the financial system, including Wall Street banks and financial records. What does that sound like?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say 9/11 was, but let's entertain me real quick, Queen T. I want you to entertain me, all right? If you disable the finance and we can't pull cash out, we can't cash out our 401ks, and then they wipe the financial records, what would make you think, how can I let me word this correctly? If they're gonna erase everything and all of our debt, what would be the outcome? Is that setting us up for slavery, or is that setting us up for the quote unquote white hat savior complex that's going around with QAnon right
Mhm. Yeah, well, we've got a lot of empty Walmarts around the United States. A lot of empty warehouse type buildings, and I know that FEMA is around for a reason, and I just don't trust that they would put us somewhere for our own safety. It would be more for their convenience and to keep us out of the way.
now? Right.
So what's going to happen? I like I said, I don't think it's a good idea to give them the benefit of the doubt. When someone shows you who they are, we should believe them. And they've shown us time and time again who they really are and who they really advocate for. So it's time for the people to stand up with the people and for the people and by the people, as our so-called forefathers have really, I think, intended. I mean, where they left Europe because they were oppressed, and called themselves setting up America in order to avoid that happening to anyone else in the future. And here it is, we've allowed ourselves to be rockabye to sleep, by convenience. I call it the microwave society. It seems like when the microwave came out, people got unused to working hard for just about any and everything. Well, that's a something that we see now more so than ever, where people are not working hard. We're not used to having to go out and forage and make things happen. Even planting community gardens, is a revolutionary act. And so we've got to be more revolutionary minded as we move forward, despite, our so-called religious beliefs, despite the color of our skin, despite what we were taught when we were knee high to a grasshopper. Like, we've got to do better as a society, or we're gonna be in trouble, and our children are going to be fodder, for the elite, for that 1% we've heard so much about since, the Occupy movement. It hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, the separation between us has gotten even wider, and our resources have gotten smaller. So we better be smart about how we're moving. We can't be arrogant about it. We can't be um, exclusive to what we bring to the table. Hey, I sew. I know how to make a garden. I know how to forage for water. Collect things out of the woods. Hey, if anybody needs those assets, I'm willing to offer those. And so we need more people to come forth and say, this is what I can do. This is what I'm willing to do. And the more that we network and build with each other, the stronger we're going to be. When this when and if this big event happens.
If it wins, right? So when they
Mm-hmm.
cut the financial system and we try to make a bank run, we're gonna that's where the disappointment and the chaos sets in, that no one's actually prepared. Do you have gas on hand?
Mm-hmm.
Because the way this
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure is playing out with the cyber attack, listen, so hear this out, right? So when Facebook went down this past week or last week, whichever that was, it wasn't Facebook again. It just wasn't them. It was everybody. There's a
Mm-hmm.
blip in the system. And this is why I keep saying there's a blip in the system, because someone's making it, someone's pushing that
Mm-hmm.
button into C. Now, I don't actually believe it's our foreign enemies, quote unquote. I don't believe it's them. I'm going to tell you the God honest truth. I have the worst trust in our leadership right now. Even after the State of the Union last night, my trust is sunk into a new level. Y'all, if y'all want to think Joe Biden was really out here rallying the troops, man, and that was a whole ritual.
Mhm.
They celebrated on us, man. They're not talking to us, right? So
Mhm.
when this does take, if this does, in if and when, I always want us to remember that when we sat here on the Daily Rabbit Hole talking about fire sales, cyber attacks, infrastructure, let's not forget the prescriptions and the not the home insurance, but medical insurance and prescription insurance has been tainted. No one can get their prescription filled right now. This is stage one, shutting down, not stage one, this is stage two and three. We ain't even made it to stage three yet. All right. We ain't even talked about stage three of the fire sale. What they're doing right now, stabilizing us and seeing how we're going to react. We went about our merry
Mhm.
way with AT&T and T and Facebook, but I bet you when the banks stop giving out money and people's balances start disappearing, I bet you then people are going to have something to say.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we went through it with COVID. We saw where people didn't supposedly didn't have change. Remember that? Um,
Trade shortage.
and for at least the past decade, we've gotten away from using cash as much. A lot of people's money is on a plastic card. Well, if that card were to become disabled and that's where all your money is, how are we going to eat? How are you going to eat? What are you going to do in order to make a way? And the value of money, has our dollar has decreased. Even if you do have a paper dollar, it's not matched to anything of value. So a lot of people consider it fiat currency anyway. So how much value is it even going to have? So that too was a test. When people were fighting, actually physically fighting over toilet paper, over
I got,
toilet paper.
I got a story for you. All right, listen to this, guys. So when COVID happened, right, I got my horror story, and this is what made me wake up. I'm gonna tell you the truth. What really made me wake up and take it serious. So me and my wife, like, we go out. We're on a schedule of buying supplies and all that stuff, right? I snapped into that mind frame, right? So we go out and we're in Walmart in I want to say Goodyear, Arizona that day. And it's people everywhere. Like you got to walk in a line to get into the store, like you seen on Contagion and in certain movies. You had
Mhm.
to walk in a line to get in. We get in, and it's complete pandemonium, right? So we're trying to get cases of water. There's no water. There's none. We have a newborn, my baby girl Marley. We got to get her formula. We got to get her water.
Mhm.
Like, that's the first thing I'm thinking. So we get in there, and my wife reaches for a case of water, and this old man gets a tad bit too aggressive with her. And I didn't want to punch out an old man. I was real close to beating up a senior citizen. I It's so funny, but what was going on, what I saw how people acted and
Mhm.
reacted to chaos, it showed me how unprepared we are. We
Mhm.
were fighting over like they put out a crate of noodles. Queen T, listen to me. I had never seen people fight over food since Hurricane Katrina. And it has set in on me then. But when I saw people fighting over a crate of noodles, like when they put the noodles out, they ran up to it like dogs, and you could see like in the cartoons when the dust is showing around,
Wow.
and man, it was crazy. And I'm thinking like I may have to fight a person in here because they're trying to stack their supply, and I'm trying to feed my family, and I
Mhm.
was not prepared. It scared the holy shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It scared me.
Mhm.
Like, because I had been watching this game for so long, but I wasn't taking it serious. Like, I wasn't prepping myself. I wasn't getting my house in order.
Mhm.
I was sitting around comfortable living in the matrix. Like, I'm okay with saying this out loud. I was living in the matrix, even with reading what's going on and understanding history, I didn't take it serious. When I saw that, game time. I don't play around with it no more.
Hmm. Yeah, and you'd be surprised. Like a little bit of preparation goes a long way.
Yep.
Um, we immediately um, we had to start to get ready. Like even prepping with seeds to keep, in a safe place with vegetables and things like that that you can grow. Um, we've got to get ready. We've got to be prepared for just about anything. And it's sad that people that you saw were being overly selfish and overly greedy instead of having the mindset to share with our neighbors and make sure that our brothers and sisters, again, regardless of religion or skin color, are going to be okay too. So now's the time that we really need to be setting up networks with each other so that we don't have to go through this again.
Right.
And we don't have to risk losing our families and watching our children starve. Because what we're seeing that's happening, I know this is not necessarily part of tonight's topic, but to see the children that are starving to death over in Gaza, I mean, even the animals are starving over there, and it's a sad thing to see.
Yeah.
And we don't want to see that at our back door or our front door or at our neighbor's house, because then
Right.
people will do whatever they feel like they need to do in order to survive. Self preservation is a natural instinct, is something that is in us to survive, but it's not in us to be a part of they call seven deadly sins. And one of them is to be greedy. We can't be greedy with one another anymore and selfish with what we have. We've got to start, advocating and looking out for our brothers and sisters, our so-called fellow man and woman.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before let's get into quick comments real quick. Guys, the people are lighting up the comments right now. I want to get into that. So Sean told us basically set up for the return of the theocratic society with Christ. That's a theory. Christopher, plenty of cash in circulation and God we trust. Talk about a huge market ready to go. Kenneth says, Red Dawn, check it out. Oh man, we Red Dawn.
Hmm.
The new one or the old one? Because both of them were pretty intense, but the first one was horrible. All right. Chris again says, sorry guys, wrong one. McCabe says, I've been ready for this my whole life. Look, I'm more prepared now than I was in 4 years, McCabe. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like I've done well in the last 4 years. I'm not gonna go into it, but like we're doing what we need to do. I'm not gonna sit here in front of you. We are. Now, there's a particular comment I want to get back to, the Red Dawn comment. Now, when Red Dawn happened, there was no communication.
Hmm.
Like when they woke up, it was a live exercise, as Putin would call it. We're running a live exercise.
Hmm.
Putin ran a live exercise. They're about to run a live exercise with us, and we're not really prepared for that. And with the fire sale and the cyber attacks, we have to remain vigilant because we don't know when it's going to happen. We know it's likely to happen. And if you're a V for Vendetta fan, the 5th of November is very prevalent right now. And predictive programming, Queen T, I keep going back when you said it, predictive programming. V for Vendetta, the 5th of November was when old girl had the big boom. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too deep into it because, I get censored. We know how it is for the Daily Rabbit.
Hmm.
But here's the thing. How intense is this going to be November 5th? What is the likelihood that we make it to November 5th without a cyber attack, paramilitary coming out of the air, martial law? What are we picking right now? What are we? Where are we at on the chessboard?
I don't know. I mean, we've got 9 months until, on or about November the 5th. So the more that we prepare now and communicate with one another, the better off we're going to be. We don't know what's going to happen post election. There have been people who have threatened to take to the streets if there's not a reelection of um, the Orange Man. So, I mean, and I mean, to me, if they went in on the Capitol on January 6th the way they did, supposedly, um, we got to prepare ourselves for anything. And so we've got a good 9 months. It takes 9 months to have a baby. Um, so we've got 9 months to have this baby, to have this unification baby. And we're going to name him or her Liberty, because that's what we're going to be relying on, is liberating ourselves from the oppression and liberating ourselves from being controlled by outside forces who don't care if we live or die at the end of the day. And so, I challenge even the people that are a part of the chat, you know, help us, help each other to help you, because that's what it's going to take. We can't, even if they do consider what we're talking about a conspiracy theory, right? We all know that that was a politically created jargon, a name to take us off the track from being able to do the right thing. We've still got to prepare ourselves for it, just in case it does happen. I'd rather err on the side of good than be caught with, our britches down and trying to figure out what to do
Absolutely.
next. By the time something big does happen, it's literally too late to prepare. Then you have to become reactionary to whatever circumstances that you might find yourself and your families in.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
what did Chris say?
I want to get to that. I'm gonna show it. Look, you saw it too.
Okay,
Look, he
okay.
says he directed it to. He said, "A much deeper and simple truth will wreck all this republic, kill its foundations that are actually a thieves' alliance, and this can make them scurry to the
Mhm.
underground chambers. Much of history is a lie." Chris, you were one of the philosophical followers of the Daily Rabbit Hole. He's not wrong. A simple truth
Mhm.
will crumble this foundation. You want to know why it will crumble this foundation? You want to know why, Queen T? Because the foundation was made upon sand and glass. It wasn't made with
Mhm.
sturdy American redwood or gopher wood or oak. It was made with glass and sand. It's not real. It can be broken, it can be destroyed, it can be dismantled. And we as a whole have to be able to unify for the greater cause. Yes, there will be
Mhm.
knuckleheads that become fodder. There will be people
Mhm.
desperate enough who don't have more than 3 days of food who go out there and risk their life for their family. And that's the sad part with the community, because there is no community. Like, we don't have a real community. Even
Yeah.
and this isn't a black thing no more, or a white thing, or an Asian thing. I want to say that out loud to the camera. I'm pointing at you right now. This has everything to do with common sense and unifying and getting back to the grassroots of human civilization. It's not white,
Mhm.
black, blue, brown, green, or orange. It's America. I don't care if you lean to the Black Panther Party. I don't care if you lean to the left a little bit. I don't care if you lean to the right. As long as you are sitting here understanding what the real problem is, I will be on the side of you. You don't have to like me, but you have to respect me and me feeding my family and defending the land that I stand on. And this ain't no America talk. This ain't that. Like,
Mhm. Right.
this is real conversation. This is real understanding of what American patriotism, unity, really is. Helping each other, no matter the color or
Mhm.
creed or size or gender, real genders, not the make believe feminist genders. I said it. I don't care. The real genders, the real people who want to see us succeed and prosper. This is what it's about. This is what the real idea of American freedom is about. Sorry, I went on that rant. Damn it, I get fired up, Queen T. I'm sorry. I get fired up. I'm just
No, it's just time for a change. Basically, we've gotten too comfortable in our discomfort, and now if we don't kind of step back, a pace or two, and regroup, right, and unify with all the people that you just mentioned, um, we're in trouble. We're just going to be in trouble. There are going to be those of us who will survive it, those of us who have prepared, those of us who have had honest talks, around the kitchen table, if folks even still do that anymore, which is not a bad idea to
I need
do.
to do
Invite your family over this coming Sunday. You ain't got to just get together when it's a football game on, or when there's a legal holiday, Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like, we can get together anytime we choose. And those kitchen conversations are something that used to happen all the time. And we don't see that enough anymore. We don't see us out socializing. And I know COVID had a lot to do with that. But now we're supposedly post COVID. Now what? I tell people all the time, like, to me, COVID kind of hit the reset button for us as a society, because we all got sat down. Like, I've never seen New York with nobody on the street. Like, there was nobody, not even taxi cabs hardly, on the streets of New York. And if they can shut us down like that, um, that was our time to look at things differently, to take things into more of a heart to heart consideration on how we deal with each other on a day-to-day basis, the things that are really truly important. And it was an opportunity for us to even get to know each other better, even in our own households. Our children couldn't go to school, we couldn't go to work necessarily. A lot of people are still working from home. So, I
Yep,
mean, that
yep.
was the reset button. Now what? And so far, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I've been really kind of disappointed with what I've seen post COVID, because I have a tendency to think with my heart and feel with my mind. But in thinking with my heart, like, I'm kind of disappointed that more people haven't realized, that COVID gave us an opportunity to really take our power back. And until we do, we're going to always be playing, trying to figure out, what they're going to pop out of the Jack in the Box next. We're always going to kind of be stepping and peeking around the corner, expecting the unexpected, when we can get ahead of this thing. Like I said, we've got 9 months to, birth this baby by November. What are we going to do? And anybody that wants to offer any solutions, like, reach out to us, at the Daily Rabbit Hole. Make yourself a part of the conversations. Like, we don't have to just converse when we're live, when we're on mainstream media. Like, we should be conversing all the time. Conversations normal. We should be having these conversations with the young people in our communities. We should be looking for alternatives to what some people consider traditions. Make some new traditions.
Right. Absolutely.
Make a Sunday dinner, at least twice a month. A new tradition.
Right.
Those kitchen table talks again are important. Make that a new tradition. And like I said, we don't just have to communicate when we're online. We should be communicating all the time, because we're being together. We're being brought together for a season, not a reason. I mean, for a reason, not a season. So it's up
Absolutely.
to us to do what we need to do with this energy. We got to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on Chris Stelter right now, because he's talking of he's vibing with you. He says many of us here in America are ones that stood up to do the right thing and were excommunicated for such. Freemasons act to make us look forward later for the benefit of privileged sellouts that sold us over here in the first place and chased us. So, all right, the idea that our own government has set us up for failure is what Chris is discussing. And what you're saying is for us to go back to not even make traditions go back to the old traditions. Because in different eras, excuse me, I had to let a little gas out, excuse me, but in older eras, dinner at the table was common,
Mm-hmm.
right? We sat down and we talked, but even then, these hard conversations weren't being had that we're talking about right now. We're not, I can guarantee back then to a certain extent that they weren't talking about when the grid goes down. I can assume they weren't, because that was America's greatest generation, was the baby boomer generation, and you lived through that.
Mm-hmm.
And age is nothing to bat an eye at. Like damn, like Kevin Hart did old buddy, Cheezel, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are a veteran, okay? You grew up in that era. I'm a millennial, all right? So my allegiance is slightly different than yours, but you saw some things back then that set us up for today. And
Mm-hmm.
in those conversations that you were having at the table, it created a foundation by just the person that you are and where you've led yourself. We need to get back to that, no matter the color, creed, or race, because they want the children. That's the
Mm-hmm.
game, right? They want the children. We ain't gonna say what they do in their free time with children, because this
Mm-hmm.
is, that's for Rumble. We're not on Rumble right now, so I'm not gonna go there with the whole algorithm. I'm gonna say it out loud. We ain't gonna go there with the algorithm. But when we get on Rumble, oh, we're getting on Rumble. We can air some dirty laundry out, and we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're being kind right now, where we are, real kind. So, what Queen T is saying and where I stand in my
Mm-hmm.
elite, the daily rabbit hole isn't just millennial, it's baby boomer, it's Gen X, it's Gen Z, it's alpha generation. My children are alphas. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have to bring back some of those traditions that kept the home strong so we can prepare for the BS that's coming down the pipeline for us.
Mm-hmm.
Would you not you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think too, one of the big steps that we could take is getting rid of our microwaves. And the
I
reason why I say that is because, again, we have turned into a microwave society. We don't
easy
work hard for anything anymore. We don't know how to wait for a few minutes for stuff to get done. And that to me was a real changing point. Now, albeit, I'll admit I was a Girl Scout till I was 18 years old, which is probably rare, um, considering I'm a melanated woman. But um, a lot of good people, I myself, a lot of good people let me know that they expected more out of me than what was average of anybody else that might have been around me. And so it's not just me and my bright ideas that you see before you, it is the integrity of my mom and my dad and my
Mhm,
aunties and my big mama and my big daddy, who
mhm,
took the time to tell me, like, no, that's not acceptable. But see, now I think a lot of us are worried about being friends more so than we are about being leaders and elders in our community. Even, in our conversation last night, I told you that you are a teacher to a certain extent. It's up to you to teach what you know to other people, even though they might be older than you. They may not have had the same life experience that you had, gave them an opportunity to learn what they needed to learn in order to be productive in the society, in order to show their fellow man compassion, and respect, and all of those things that we seem like we have pushed to the side in order to be popular. I don't give a damn about being popular. As a matter of fact, to a lot of the petty bourgeoisie in my city, I am very unpopular, but that's okay because they know that I'm not willing to sell out in order to get an award or a plaque from somebody, or to get my organization funded in a particular way. I'd rather get out here and get it out the mud than be sitting around somebody's table eating caviar and steak every night for dinner. So we get it out the mud, and if that's what we have to do, that's just what we have to do. But at the end of the day, it gives us a certain quality that a lot of people just don't have, and they're afraid of to a certain extent. But we can't let fear, be our leader. We've got to be bold enough to step out and say, you know what, I know that this might not be popular amongst the people that are currently in my circle, but maybe I need a new circle. Maybe I need to expand and create some more people to bring into what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and make a difference, so that we're not talking about this a year from now and things are even worse than what they are right now. Things are pretty bad. Like, I know, like we're having this conversation now, and there are certain things that we can discuss, and there are certain things that we're not like quite ready to discuss. But in all honesty, things are pretty bad. Look at the world around us. Are our children really safe? How many programs that used to be around for children during the summertime to even work are still in existence? Like, we have to create our own way, our own avenues, our own liberation, and our own paths to freedom. And it's up to us to really put out what we need to put out, and make some sacrifices. Like, it might be inconvenient sometimes. We might not be able to spend money like we're used to spending money in order to invest in something else. But I mean, in my opinion, and with all humility, like, that's just where we are. And like I said, we've got to prepare ourselves for what's next. We don't want to be in the same position a year from now.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Pam, you are absolutely correct. And I do think that we have the ability to be that race, but
Mm-hmm.
we have to get past the social engineering. We have to get past the fluoride in the water. We got to get past the conditioning as a whole. The conditioning amongst the black community is strong, but the conditioning amongst the white community was different than the black condition and the Asian condition. Excuse me. When I speak of social engineering, and if you know me, if you listen to me long enough, you know I don't like social engineering. That's one of my pet peeves because
Mm-hmm.
that's unfair. So when we think about everyone's struggle in America, we have to realize that no matter race, gender, religion, creed, we have all been conditioned to believe that we are correct in our beliefs, and that's not been the case. And that's what's led us to this divisive nature that has created America. Okay. And I'm cooking right now. Okay. And I do think that once we break down those barriers on the spectrum and find our middle ground with each other, I think that's how we tackle the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because white people do believe that they're being replaced. And to some degree, they are being replaced. I will not deny that. I don't care. I won't deny that. But in the same breath, I can say for my fellow brother and sister and my wife and my brother and my father and what makes us black people, we are also being replaced. We're
Mm-hmm.
not absolved from this situation. We're not any different from each other when it comes to the same problems that we're having in America right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the big thing that I want to preach tonight, like I preach every show, is that we are the same. We are living the same nightmare, but repackaged to us through social engineering. And before I go into comments, I want to say this: the Daily Rabbit Hole stands with the American people, no matter race, color, or creed. If you understand who your enemy is and who's the problem, we have an understanding, we have community. From there, we can sort out our differences.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm gonna get into Chris's comment. Okay, just because I love his energy. He says, "And lady, for making wheat, my extended families have been cut up something severe. We with them big hearts will hopefully find our kind wherever they be. We will find each other.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. We will find each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's a reason, there's 48,000 of you on this page. There's a reason there's 11,000 on TikTok. There's a reason you're here right now. Okay. And together we can manage this problem. But when the lights go out, we cannot become the animals that we have been trained to be.
Yeah, you're right. How I've heard it said that we all bleed red. At the end of the day, and what hurts one of us hurts all of us. But what helps one of us has the potential to help all of us as well. So it's all about taking our power back. Like, we are powerful people.
Right.
The frequency, if frequency can be used to hurt, frequency can be used to heal. And if we elevate the frequency that we communicate with each other in, how we communicate with each other, the compassion that we show towards one another, it's going to elevate everything that's around us, not just a self-serving us. It's going to elevate society even as a whole. So we got to start from where we are to get to where we be. Having these kinds of conversations is an excellent start to that. And the challenge becomes, as somebody said, now what? Now what are we gonna do? Between now even and the next time that we get together, help spread the word about what we talked about tonight, and see what the people around you have to say about it. And ask them to be a part of the conversation, to be a part of the healing, to be a part of elevating the frequency so that we can heal. Because we still got a lot of healing to do. I think, we've had a lot of things that have happened to us and not for us. So now it's time for things to happen for us.
Yes, we're facing an uphill battle. We're facing cyber
Mm-hmm.
attack, social engineering, war, war on our soil. First and foremost, we're talking about war on our soil. We're talking about migrants receiving $10,000 in benefits in money when they even get Social Security, can't even get food stamps to go to college. Lahaina got
Mm-hmm.
$700 for what happened to them. Migrants are getting $10,000 right now, a cell phone, $1,500 in food stamps, and they're allowed to vote, go to war with the military. They can register for the military and be drafted. We as a people, the writing has been on the wall for so long.
Mm-hmm.
The writing has always been on the wall for us. We are not considered first class citizens in our own country.
Mm-hmm.
We are not first. I don't care about the color. I care about how you're treated. Class citizens. So we need to stick together because this cyber attack on the pipeline, Queen T, ma'am, it's real. It's
Mm-hmm.
real. It's coming. It's coming. And we are not prepared as a whole. And that upsets me so much. I get on rants. I get passionate. I feel it in my bones that we deserve
Mm-hmm.
better inside of our own.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it starts with us. At the end of the day, we do have more control than we've given ourselves credit for. And I refuse to lose. It's been times where, we didn't know where we were going to get our next meal from, but we got our next meal anyway. So that type of um, refuse to lose mentality has got to become the norm. Um,
Absolutely.
or we're in trouble. At the end of the day, like I don't want to be asked, from future generations, you knew it was this bad, and you chose not to do anything about it, or what did you do about it? And to think to myself, I was more concerned with getting my hair done than I was making sure that I bought soil and seeds for my garden. So I mean, our priorities are effed up. Our what is important to us has become so materialistic and so I guess money driven, that we've lost sight of why we're even here on this planet. Like why we were not one of the ones that swam away, but we're here. Here we are in this human body, when our whole existence could have been flushed down the tubes. But we're here. So now what? Now what are you gonna do? And if you choose not to do anything, that's on you. But if you choose to do something, we're here to try to work with, and try to make a difference and to be successful at the things that we're saying that we know that we need. And it's a need for all of us, because all of us have to eat, all of us have to drink, all of us, want to enjoy life. I don't know if it's an American dream or American scream anymore, but it is what it is. Like, we all deserve the best, and we have to set that mindset, especially in our young people, because they see it everywhere. Like, look at what they see on social media, and they're
Mhm.
thinking like, damn, here it is that we barely got a loaf of bread in the kitchen. And I see people that are driving $1 million cars and live in a couple of $1 million houses, and we're struggling. Why is that? So, like, our children are watching, our grandchildren are watching. I've got 4 grandchildren. Hopefully I'll have more before I leave the face of this earth. And I want what's best for them and the people that are around them. My young people in the community, before we were gentrified out, I was known as the lunch lady. Hey, until this day, when some of the children I used to feed see me, that's what they call me, is the lunch lady. So hey, I came giving, willingly. And, we just need people to, more people to do that, and we're going to be all right. Like, I do know that things might look dim to a certain extent, to a lot of the things that we have had happen to us. But I know that we're going to be all right. It might not be but a few of us, if the rest of us are unwilling, but I think we've got enough of the willing to really make a difference. And that's where it starts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I comment from William. William is a huge follower of the page. All right. I choose to do something. Praying for a little bit. You know how powerful that is? He chose to do
Hmm.
something. He didn't he didn't have to succumb to his issue. He doesn't have to succumb to kissing, to being a bootlicker. I'm gonna say it.
Hmm.
He made a choice to do something. All right. William, appreciate you for that. All right. Love that comment. Chris got a mouthful. Excuse me. He said yes. They love to let communism come in to clean up their failed social engineering programs. High IQ and big hearts get crushed. It's communitarianism instead. I ain't giving up faith on the big mothership yet, though. And yes, QT, we need a good. We do, man. Chris, I appreciate you, bro. You're one of the huge followers of the page, man. You rock with me on every platform that I go on. Off subject, I did deactivate Twitter. I'm gonna tell you why. Because they were censoring me, and I've been trying to post for the last month, and they won't let me. I got off of the platform. Okay, why? because our message is bigger than just X.
Mm-hmm.
Our message is bigger than just Facebook. Our message is bigger than just YouTube and all this other stuff we're on. Our message is real. And at the Daily Rabbit Heart topics, we cover the things no one wants to talk about. We believe in unity. We believe in community. Even though community is an off branch word of communism, I'm going to go ahead and say it. But what we understand community to be, we know what community is. And I'm going to tell you what fire sale that we're dealing with right now, because this is the fire sale we're in right now. It's happening as we talk on this platform right now. Facebook is trying their best to keep their own platform up. It ain't just them. The banks are holding themselves up. The utility systems are holding themselves up. Everyone is holding themselves up right now. And when it fails, we need to be there to for the people who didn't believe us and for the ones and the elders and the other people who aren't prepared for this situation. Everybody ain't gonna make it. The trajectory is 90% worldwide. 90% worldwide. Done. The Georgia Guidestone said they want 500 million people. That's 90 to 95% of the world population. It's 7.6 billion. They want 500 million left over. And those are the slaves. I'll tell you what right now. Ain't enough fire sale, ain't enough government interference, ain't no policy that can make me sit here and act like it ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
We as a group have to stand up to this. And we don't have to be violent. I'm not condoning violence. That's not what I'm never condone violence. But I'll tell you right now, we the people have the ability to make them buckle at the knees. We
Mm-hmm.
present ourselves. And that is the truth.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You done got me
Common
started.
unity. Common unity. Common unity. You
You done got me
know.
started.
That's all right. That's all right. Preach.
Damn it, William. You up there, William. COVID is a lie. I said it. It never existed. It's a computer lie and everything. Damn it. You ain't lying. I take it every day, William. I take damn it, Kenny working in the background. I'll take it also. DARPA. Damn it. DARPA. You already know how I feel about DARPA. You already know how I feel about DARPA. I got a DARPA. Mm. Who you think's pushing the button right now with our lights and our communication? Look,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm about to do. If you don't, if everyone watching right now, even the people that's gonna right, let me move this. Let me show you something. Hopefully, Facebook doesn't be difficult with this. I want to show you something. You see that? That's DARPA. If you look at this diagram right now, you will see every bit of electronic social engineering. I want to put them on the screen and let it be known who's control. Because I guarantee when the lights go out, I bet you $5 that DARPA on Elon Musk Starlink satellites that's a part of DARPA on the government contract. Well, I guarantee they're already talking through it. I already talking on it. I promise you that. I do. Because I've showed you receipts. I've been talking about cyber attacks since June of last year. Do a small web of events. Each each event that happens is another web sewn on the spider web of BT. I'm telling you now, from your existence in the baby boomer era to the millennials, DARPA. has been at the back front of everything that we're talking about. From social engineering
Mm-hmm.
to the I ain't gonna because Facebook and YouTube get sensitive. William says they're
Yep.
interrupted. They always interrupt. They always interrupt. I'm telling you now, DARPA, DARPA. Nothing
Yep.
is what it appears. See enough on Rumble. Damn it, Chris. Damn it, Chris. Wait till we do the show on Rumble. Strictly Rumble. Oh, I'm gonna pull out receipts for your ass. Oh, I got your ass now. I had to steal it from TikTok. My dude who's from the UK, if you know that saying, I can't think of his name right now. Oh, I got your ass now. If I really wanted to go deep, I can go deep, Queen T. You sat through some of my deepest conversations about history. You
Mm-hmm.
see me break down DARPA. You see me break down everybody. When I tell you right now, I'ma dig off in y'all ass with a spoon, man, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Telling you. All right, man. I'm sorry. I go on my rants, man. I get fired up. I'm sorry. I get fired up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got some teaching to do.
Yes, we
Um, and for those who are willing, come on board. For those who are not, just get out of the way.
absolutely. Look, Chris. Chris is so I got your not that one. Sorry, William. Oh, I got your ass. I got your ass. I got you. I know who you are. I know who you worship. I know what your game plan is coming. I hear you coming. Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. I watch mainstream media and I get upset because I know they're playing with us. I'm sorry, Queen
Mm-hmm.
T. I'm sorry. I, I lose my decor and I go on my rants, but it gets me fired. This is real
That's right.
right now. This is living in this. We're living in this,
Mm-hmm.
people. So if you're not fired up for your own salvation and survival, I can't fire you up. You're an NPC. That's all I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Last drop.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we've got some work to do, and
Dude,
some days, it'll be easier than others, but it's something that cannot be just swept under the rug, or pushed to the side as if, the reality of our reality doesn't exist. Like we know what it is. We know what it
we know.
is.
We know. And we got proof. Because you're looking at the screen and you know what you see on there? You see a coordinated group of organizations working against us, all centralized in one area called the Pentagon. I'll say it out loud. I don't mind saying it. I don't. Said by somebody, whether it's me or you, or it's in the comments. Somebody
Hmm.
got to say it. We've been played. We've been had. We've been bamboozled. We got to do better. And at this point, 2025 is on its way. It's coming down the pipeline, hot and heavy. The last president is near.
Hmm.
So for us, we're here to give you the spiel on what could potentially be going on as far as cyber attacks, and of course, all right. We've gone
Hmm.
to our time limit. I'm gonna go ahead and let Queen T take us out to the end of it. and we're gonna call that the night. And this is the Daily Go ahead and take it.
All right, all right. Thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you again for tonight's conversations. And it all starts with us being able to be truthful with one another. And you can't do anything with the truth but tell it. So we're here. We're here for those that want to continue to build. And we challenge everybody, to do what's right, to do the right thing, not only by yourself, but by society as a whole. And let's get this done. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Likewise, pleasure meeting you as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Chris, we love you. William, we love you. Steve, you're gonna see this later. Shout out to you. Everybody that's always on the page. You guys have a great night. This Queen T. My name's Marcus. Guys get a little bit personal with me. Call me the rabbit. You guys have a good night and a good weekend. Stay vigilant, act accordingly, and stay prepared.